Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. What's good? What's good, everybody? I'm in good spirits. I'm really excited to make this video. So I want to make a shot today. I'm not modeling. I just want to make a cinematic shot. If you can remember, I dropped an asset pack recently, and I want to use that pack to create a scene. These are shots from the town or the city that inspired that pack, and I've gotten some live shots here. I'm going for something low angle like this, first person, and just being a tourist in the scene. Something like this is what I'm going for. As expected, it's supposed to be a low angle because the primary means of transportation in this town is a boat. So you would expect something like this. I really love this. So you would expect that the horizon line would be lower and the person that's shooting the shot would be at a really low angle. So I'm going to be taking inspiration from this shot right here, and we're going to just quickly get into the shots. It's not going to be really complex. I'm going to clear out the scene and I'll bring in a plane. So with the plane, I'm going to bring in a box so I can just get the basic human height in the scene. GZ, I'm going to bring that to the surface right here, and I'm going to bring in a human for reference. I think my human reference is here, right here, a human, and I'm going to bring him in. Oh my God. I'm going to bring him in. Okay, I'm going to bring him in, and I'm going to bring selection to that cursor, and I'm going to scale this down. GX, I'm going to bring this out just like so. And we have our human reference that's a scale. So another thing I want to do is set my camera up. So I'm going to just get a basic setup right now first. Then I'll go back to actually get my composition by bringing in some test elements. So we have this. I'm just going to select this. I'm going to bring it out just like so. I'm going to make this on the ground plane just like so. And I think I have my preliminary shots. Then with this, I can now start arranging this just as a block out for what I want my scene to look like. So I want something like this. I really like this shot. We have a nice pathway for the water down here, and we have the buildings to the right and to the left and to the right. So I'm going to create something like this, but with a much wider, pathway right here. So I'm going to have a building here, and I'm going to scale on the Z-axis just like so, G, Shift Z. And with this, I can Shift D, move this on the Y, scale this on the Y just like so. I can Shift D, Y, just like so. I can scale this on the Y, and I can select all of this building, Shift B, Y. Basically, we're just using this as a reference just to create what I think the shot is going to look like at the end of the day. So I can GX just bring this out so we can see that last building. And with all of this to this side, I'm going to select all and Shift the X to this part. So I can scale this, and now we have a basic composition of what the buildings could look like in the shot. So I'm going to get this aspect ratio of this camera to look cinematic. So the Y, I can just drop this to be more cinematic. I like that. And GY, I can just bring this out just like so. I probably want to duplicate this GY or Shift DY. Shift DY all the way to the back, and I can bring this up like this. So we have something I think is going to be a good shot. However, I don't know if the pathway works. So I'm going to select this and GX, move this GX, move this out of the way like this, and GX, move this out of the way like so. I don't know where my human is. Let me see if I can look for him. So it's lost in the shot somewhere. So I can bring him here for reference. I think this is good. Pretty much okay with it. But we are not selling the scale of the scene because our focal length is still really high. So I can bring that to, let's say 30 or 25. So we are at 25 focal length. I'm going to move back into the shot and move back into the shot. And with this, I can just set the camera angle that I want. I'm going to bring this shot close a little bit. I like this. Remember, the person that's going to be taking this is like a tourist. And he is going to be in a boat. So he's not going to be having some weird camera angle. He's going to be in that boat. So I'm going to bring this up. I probably want to GZ, just like so. So I like this. I'll just use this and cover this angle, Shift D, Y, cover this scale on the Z axis, Shift D, Y, cover this SZ. All right. So I like this shot. I just wanted to see I'm going to go out of that view, and I think this is pretty much okay for me to start bringing in my assets into the scene. So I'm going to go into material preview first so that I can start bringing in the assets. If you have not gotten the assets, it's on my Gumroad. I think it's about $7. If you're a student and you need a discount, you can hit me up in the comments anywhere, and I can do some kind of a discount for you. So I can GX this to the side, just like so. And we have these buildings. I think before I move to material preview, I don't want to start replacing these things. So we're going to have to move fast. I don't know if I'm going to fast forward this part. So I'm going to go to the assets and favela assets, YouTube video. I'm going to refresh this, select all, and now we have all our assets here. I'm going to start bringing in some initial buildings that I think I should add. So I'm going to bring this in. Unfortunately, these assets are created in such a way that you would have to right click, set origin to geometry in order to see it. So I have to bring the origin back to the building, and then I can use Shift X to call that geometry to a 3D cursor. So selection to 3D cursor, and we have a building right here. So I'm going to RZ90, and with this I can GZ up on the surface just like so, and that's cool. But before I start bringing in buildings, I'm going to take out this building out of the shot. There needs to be platforms. If you notice, these things have platforms, and the platforms are the pillar for the building. So first thing I need to bring is my platforms. So I'm going to start bringing in platforms like this. Remember, just like so. Scale GX, GZ into the water a little bit, GY. I'm going to bring this in. Make it past the camera a little bit so I can take this out, and I think this is a good first addition into the shot. I really like this. All right, guys. So this is where I've stopped, and I just rendered a shot of this. I had to optimize this thing because Blender was really dragging. So we have this currently. What I'm just going to do is just going to figure out the things that I need to do in order to take the shots to where it needs to be, or this frame rather. I don't think it's shot. So starting from here, just this wall right here seems a little too bland. So I'm going to add some stickers, some posters to this part, something to just break up this flat surface. I think same applies to this also. I'm going to break this up. And for some of these grasses, I think particularly this one, I'm going to remove this out of the way because I feel like it's obstructing the immersiveness that this shot is supposed to have. So I'll probably move this to maybe this corner right here. Then this texture seems a little stretched. So I'll fix this and I'll fix this, yeah. Then I think this grasses here just needs to be arranged a little better. Maybe the values need to be reduced because that is the first thing my eyes is kind of looking at. So I'll probably make these darker. This wood right here, I think I want to remove this wood so that the boat can lean properly on the tires. The tires goes to provide cushion and it's not having direct contact with the tires. So I'm going to remove this. Then right here, I think I want to introduce an object here. I think if I'm going to use humans for this render, I'll probably want to have a human here, right? And then another thing I need to do is figure out where I want to put light fixtures because all of these shots is actually going dark. I'm going to turn off all the light and kind of rely on light fixtures to figure out where I'm going to put light. For example, I think behind these clothes right here, just behind these clothes, needs to have lights. Behind here, just like so, needs to be lit up. I think inside here, we need to be able to see some lights coming out of this place. Under here needs to have some lights. I think we're going to have a light bulb inside here. Light bulb definitely on this part for sure. I think some surfaces here, even like maybe this entrance would have some point light there. I don't think I'm going to put that there. So maybe it's going to be like a lantern that's going to hang on this part and hang on the other parts. So I'm going to just have to figure out where else. I think a light definitely would go here. So guys, we have the final shots out of Blender. I was pretty limited in terms of memory, so I couldn't do a lot of stuff. But first thing I want to do is take out this moon right here. So I'll just use my lasso tool, select this and just content away, fill that, so I can just knock that out completely because it doesn't look good. So what I have here is just this image I'm going to convert to a smart object and move straight to the camera raw. So with the camera raw, I can treat things the way I want and polish out this image to come out a little better. So I'm going to go straight into color and I will just turn this towards blue a little bit, just a hint. And I will increase the vibrance of this shot first, and then I'll go down to effect and increase the textures. So now that we have some textures coming out of the shot, I will introduce a little bit of vignettes, just a hint of vignettes to the shots. Then I will introduce some grains, right? So the next place I want to go to is the curves. I just want to bring down the curves and just form a very slight S curve, just slight. So I just want to get the Blender logo and just bring it to this far. And I think that is about it. So when I'm done, I'll show you guys. So that's it, guys. So long, really long video right here. And until I see you in the next one, peace.